A week ago, I was very nervous to make this video, knowing that TMNT Shredder's Revenge was about to come out, and I had a great early chance to play it. I was worried that I'd get here with you, Gabe, and I'd say, oh crap, like it's not what I remember, and my nostalgia for TMNT did not carry through, and here we are.
Yeah, man, nostalgia glasses and all. Here we are, Zach. This is a very exciting release for Nintendo Switch. Revealed during a Nintendo presentation. It's finally out. There was some scuttlebutt about a fake date for a direct. None of that could stop the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Zach. Nothing.
It could not, and my big smile is betraying me because this game is so much fun. I can safely say that yes, nostalgia does play a big part, but they hit a home run here in the ways that they make this feel like I'm back in the early 90s, in the ways that they take, you know, popular characters like Shredder and put them front and center, and they take Leatherhead and Dirtbag and all these old TMNT villains and side characters. It is charming as all heck, and they have upgraded the gameplay, and they have definitely upgraded the graphics. You and I did a little trip down memory lane. And if you're interested in this game, you should do this right now. Go on YouTube or wherever and search for Turtles in Time, because that's the one that I spent the most time with.
Same.
On SNES. And I thought they looked very similar. But if you're wondering why this game costs $25 in 2022, even though it's only about, I don't know, 2-ish hours long, wow, did they make it look so much better. And yet my mind, I thought this is how it always looked.
Yeah, that was a fun exercise, right? And then you said, hey, look, this is the NES one. I said, Zach, there's no way that that's what that looked like. But, you know, I digress. This one does look really good for the $25 package. And don't get scared away by hearing 2 hours, $25. Like, that might not seem like the best value. But like with arcade games, replayability is a big piece of this. Multiple difficulties, a bunch of collectibles to find. You get to unlock a character, which we know now is Casey. Once you beat the game, again, replayability.
Yeah, and there's 2 modes. There's story mode, where they actually added like a world map here, which I think is super cool to see the turtles driving through. And then that mode you can play like, okay, you can die, you can change characters out, you can add people, whatever. But then there's arcade mode, which is sort of the leaderboard mode. And that one, it's back in my living room, you know, 1991. I cannot leave because the NES might auto reset itself, and just like that, you can't save, you can't turn off the system, you can't come back to it. It's a tried and true arcade mode. Story mode, I'm sure, is where everyone will start off, and there are a bunch of challenges even there, and some of them are fun and accomplishable, like achievements, you know, oh, defeat 6 characters or 6 enemies with special attacks. But then some are for the hardcore, and so just kind of laying this out, because I think the length is going to be the concern for everybody. There's stuff like don't get hit the entire level, and that is for you to master, and that will take many, many, many attempts. So this is a game that I think they fully intend you to come back to, just like we used to come back to Turtles in Time or TMNT the arcade game.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. And there's also a lot of variation on how you can play. I played by myself a lot. You played local co-op a lot. It has online. So there's also
6 players.
Yeah. You've never played a Ninja Turtles game like this with 6 players. So there being so many options on how to play this, I feel like that will go back to the replayability here for a second, give you incentive to get back in over and over.
Right. And it's such a great callback, man. It makes like 6 players even makes me think of the 6-player X-Men arcade machine that I thought was so fancy back in the day. You know, it was like Curve, that the big one.
No, it was fancy,
Colossus
for sure.
Nightcrawler. And this is fancy too. They have made some significant improvements to gameplay. I'm not the biggest beat 'em up fan, and I do know that my love for TMNT is clouding this, but they did upgrade the amount of attacks there are, the combos, the way you traverse, move across the screen. It is a crowd control based game. You know, it's very much about how can you handle 10-foot soldiers on the screen at once. You have super moves, you have variations of the super moves, and complementing that all is this point system where as you play, you're earning points per character, and then you can those points, I guess, automatically give you extra hit points, unlock different specials, unlock 3rd level of special. And so there's incentive to sort of get through the game with all the different characters, as opposed to just like, well, I'm randomly swapping because they're all the same. They animate differently, they have different looking attacks, and they got the original voice cast. I was shocked by like the character, they used to be so stiff. In my head, they moved just like the cartoon, but back in SNES and all that, they did not. They moved like they were cardboard cutouts, and now they animate so lifelike. My favorite animation of the whole game is feeding the pizza to revive.
Yeah, there you go. That's a really good one. I've seen it. I didn't get to experience it firsthand because I was playing solo.
No friends.
Well, no, I have friends, Zach. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, but I wanted to ask you, what character did you play as mostly? Because I found April to be quite good. Each character has like different like stats. It's not deep in any way at all, but
it's just a range, a speed, and an attack power. But it does make it more fun. It makes it more flexible, and it's sort of that team
range, by the way.
Yeah. I was Donatello, the best turtle, obviously. His taunt is like pulling out this little like Game Boy. They all have these taunts to build up their supers. It's not a terribly difficult game, but I did play on Gnarly, the hardest difficulty. And like, you got to be on your game, and you do have to sort of utilize the different moves, the backward somersault, the dashes, the sliding attack, the jump attacks, the lift attacks, and the super attacks to deal with a variety of enemies that are almost all callbacks, but there are some new ones that I did appreciate. Like this, if you're going to do a game, this is how you do it, right? If you were going to do TMNT, I'm sure they were nervous. I'm sure this was a scary project to tackle. I feel like they killed it. Like if you were asking for a new TMNT game, this is about as good as it could get.
Yeah, because with the 3D like TMNT games, I remember people always saying like, oh, they should just go back and make them like Turtles in Time. And this is as close to that as you're going to get, with the beautiful visuals, with the awesome music, with the voice cast being perfect.
With the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, it's just what you remember. Ghostface has a verse, Zach, talking about beating people up and eating pizza. Come on, man.
They got some stages, where you're on like surfboard, hoverboard type things. They have obviously stages where you're running through all sorts of locations, and similar to Turtles in Time, they kept it really fun. There's a mall, there's a carnival, there's also some great callbacks. I love that one of the early stages is Big Apple 3 p.m. because Turtles in Time was Big Apple 3 a.m. Baxter is back, like I mentioned. You got Leatherhead, you got a bunch of these characters that every time I saw one, it's like, oh yes, it unlocked a memory. Like obviously Mike and Leo and Donatello and Raphael, I remember, but then like it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I forgot about this guy. And it's just really great how they orchestrate that all. It probably also plays just notably better. Like your nostalgia will enhance this, but they like, let's give them kudos. They did make a really well playing game. They made a really great side scrolling beat 'em up. Like it's a pretty simple genre, but I think they did such a good job, and it does control, animate, play, look, sound leaps better than it did. But it's kind of like that great feeling where it makes you feel like this is how great your childhood was, and I think that's just a really good thing to tap into.
Yeah, but what do you think about the game for someone that doesn't have that? Like someone that never played Turtles in Time or anything previous or anything like this. Maybe someone that doesn't even care about the Ninja Turtles so much, but it kind of just like looks cool. Do you think that like it's still worth it for that? Because it is $25.
It is $25, and like there are some side quest type things like, oh, collect these VHS tapes and collect secret diaries, collect disgusting bugs. I feel like they're more just opportunities for cameos, honestly. You can cash those in for points, which I do think go to your character, like those point levels I was telling you about. But all things considered, like it is a very limited package. Like there's definitely, in terms of value, there is a better $25 to be spent elsewhere on the eShop or elsewhere on Steam, elsewhere on, wherever you're going to get it. I do think there is a heavy caveat that like you have to have a pretty solid affinity for this IP to feel like you got your money's worth. I still think it's a good fun game, but I don't think it's going to feel $25 fun.
Yeah, and that's where it becomes tricky, but you have to imagine that the large percentage of player base that's going to get this does have that. So that's the good news there.
Yeah, they obviously were targeting a specific person, a specific, Ninja Turtles fan, like I said, from the late 80s, early 90s. And for that audience, they absolutely crushed it. We talk about this a lot with games. Like, do you make it for the already existing fans? Do you make it for new players? And take a random game like Callisto Protocol. Like, I hope they are making that with Dead Space fans in mind. Then you have something like Pokemon where you're like, oh my gosh, like they're making it for new players way too often, like, consider the fans. And so I think they made the right move here. I always think that is the better move for like the player, is going with the fan perspective. This is for the fans. I don't think any fan is going to go into this and think like, wow, something's way off. Like, everything they nailed, right? They got the original cast. They have a whole bunch of awesome bosses. The game is actually longer than the old games. You might remember them taking you a while, but Turtles in Time is like a 45-minute game. And this is, maybe 3 times that. So there's, some fun story beats. There's some quirky little, I don't know if you want to call them cutscenes, animated motion comic thingies. But everybody's there. It goes, I don't know. I felt like it was a good length. Like, I was expecting the game to end sooner than it did. Won't spoil the ending. But it's for a Turtles fan.
Yeah.
This is a great entry. It is a super awesome thing to play on the Switch. On the OLED screen, it is awesome. Me and my brother played half the game just like off my OLED. Like, I was playing with a Pro Controller and a fixture, and my brother was just using his Joy-Con. Like, it looks so good on that screen.
Wait, he was peeking over your shoulder?
I was holding it. I was giving him a good angle.
Okay,
yeah, we were doing it. We were doing it like schoolyard style.
Oh,
we
man.
really got
Wonderful.
back into the old spirit. No, but I loved this game, and I was nervous because it's been a long time, and it's not like the most exciting genre, but no, like, this is, if you're going to do it like they did it.
Yeah, I pretty much have to agree with you there. I haven't finished it yet, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. Maybe I can talk that wife of mine into playing with me. Maybe she likes the Turtles.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can be Casey, you can be April, and you guys can go after it. There are some nice things to, get once you play. And like I said, replayability is pretty solid. So Turtles fans must buy. Like, you're going to be so happy. You're going to be so excited. You're going to be transported back to your childhood. And then go look at the old games and see how far this one has come. Because it's really, people always say like they don't want to distort their childhood, but this is a case where they improved it so much. You'll be like, wow, they did good. And then you'll see, okay, that's where my $25 is going. If you're not a Turtles fan, I mean, if you're looking for just like a fun couple hours to kill with friends and you got some spare change, like, it is a quality experience, but I don't think you're going to care about seeing Ground Chuck. I don't think you're going to care like I do about seeing Baxter. I don't think you're going to care about, the Triceratop enemies that you face later on in the game. So for those people, I would say, I don't know, Katana Zero, Celeste, Steam World. There's a lot of better games out there.
Wait, can I say the name of the game? Embargo.
Yeah.
Neon White?
Yeah. Whew. Neon White. But let's focus on green, which is Turtles. Guys and girls, let us know if you're planning to pick this one up, if you're excited for it, and if you've played it, what you think. Because I do think this is going to be one of my favorite games of the year. And for Turtle fans, like, yeah, it's a home run. So we had a bunch of fun with it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you had fun having fun with us. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, my wonderful people, SwitchForce out.